Right. Hey, everybody. Would you like to know some interesting facts of how Valentine's really was originated? Well, stick with me and I will share my story. If you don't know me, my name is Wheezy, and I like to share interesting facts about life and living, particularly with the more mature audience, meaning the silvers. So, if you're a silver and you like little random facts, then you might like what I have to say. So, today I'm going to share some interesting facts that I came across in a magazine article the other day, and it got me digging about the true origins of Valentine's Day. I know we talked about it in school, but I really forgot a lot of the facts. And in this day and age, I think it's so important that we go back and we do our own research into the origins of things, the history of what is happening or happened in the past, so that we know how to address it in the present and moving forward into the future. And Valentine's Day really was originated out of somebody showing love and compassion. And who couldn't use a little love and compassion in these days of the pandemic? So I just thought it was very fitting to share the story of Valentine's and how it was named after Saint Valentine. So the history of so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start sharing, and yes, I am reading copy from the copy. uh, so the early history of Valentine's Day. Valentine's is named after Saint Valentine. I think I already said that, but we'll share it again. He was a Catholic priest who lived in Rome in the 3rd century. There were many stories about Saint Valentine, and over these stories grew the legend that we know today. In the time of Valentine's life, many Romans were converting to Christianity, but the emperor, Claudius II, was a pagan and created strict laws about what Christians were allowed to do. So we know they were there's many stories about this, that you can go back and look into about the Christians being persecuted. Claudius believed that the Roman soldiers should be completely devout to Rome, therefore passed a law preventing them from marrying period. So I guess he wanted them to be priest-like, um, or just not marrying what he considered vile Christians. But anyway, Saint Valentine began marrying these soldiers in secret Christian ceremonies, and this was the beginning of his reputation of believing in the importance of love. Eventually, Valentine was found out and jailed for his crimes against Claudius. While in prison, Valentine cared for his fellow prisoners and also his jailer's blind daughter. Legend has it that Valentine cured the girl's blindness, and as a final act before execution happened, or being executed, I should say, he wrote her a love message and signed it from your Valentine. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. Valentine was executed the 14th of February, the year 2070. Now, I'm going to interject here. There are different accounts of the time. In another article, I read 2069, and there's some things regarding dates on some of the things throughout history. You can go read that for yourself. This is what I'm going by because I'm just doing this quick and easy, and I did not pick out all the points about history. There's many points about history. But about moving into the 15th century and about 200 years later, it started to be more recognized. And then in the 15th century, Chaucer, a poet, brought more of it to life and another level in which we celebrate Valentine's. And this is his story. Chaucer lived in the Middle Ages in the era of courtly love, when broad romantic statements of devotion, poems, songs, paintings celebrated the partnership. By the end of the 15th century, the word Valentine was being used to describe a lover in poems and songs of the day. And in the 18th century, a book called The Young Man's Valentine Writer was published in England. By the mid 19th century, mass production of paper Valentine cards were being created, which we still use today. And I'm going to come back to this fact about the 18th and the 19th century in regards to the cards a little bit later in this speech because it's very interesting and very poignant in American history. But let's move on to the symbols. As you see today, I have my rose scarf. I have my lace top. I'm dressed in pink, a little bit of red. And the practice of sending love messages developed into people sending special cards expressing their affections. These cards were beautiful creations, handmade by the sender and individually designed to show how much they loved the recipient. Cards would usually contain a sentimental verse proclaiming the beauty of the receiver and how much they were loved. St. Valentine cards were decorated with pictures of Cupid, hearts, and flowers, and all trimmed with lace and ribbon. Thus, the images are still used today to symbolize love and recognized around the world. Moving on up to modern times, so what is Valentine's in the contemporary times? While Valentine's is celebrated in most countries, different cultures have developed their own traditions for the festival. In some parts of the world, Valentine's Day is observed as a day for expressing love between family members and friends, rather than romantic couples. Some traditions include leaving lollipops and gifts for children, and others include acts of appreciation between friends. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things when I was a kid is getting the little red heart shaped lollipop, cherry flavor. There's something about February, I guess, because of George Washington's birthday. Cherry is a big flavor for the month too. But I love those little lollies. And during these times of the pandemic, what a nice way to let somebody know that you're thinking about them by maybe sending them a note or a phone call, but letting them know, or a small gift. But that's what you could do for your friends. But here's where it comes in for the romantic love. Valentine's Day is most commonly associated with romantic love and the millions of Valentine cards being exchanged each year. Gifts of flowers, a single red rose, are sent as romantic messages to the loved ones and the couples that spend a special time together. Many couples choose to celebrate Valentine's with a dinner, a picnic, a special home cooked meal. Many restaurants offer themes of the Valentine, and they will elaborate by doing food creations and symbolic things of arranging food or items on the table of flowers and hearts. Sorry, lost my place. One more interesting fact, and this was the one I alluded to. A lot of people will call Valentine's uh, the Hallmark holiday. That's the word I'm looking for. Why is this? Well, back in the 1800s in Britain and United States, the act of the card giving became very popular among the masses. And then there was a production of mass producing cards for at affordable prices for people, so they no longer had to make them, but the convenience of just being able to go get a card and give it to their loved ones. Hence, guess who started a company in the 1900s, in the early 1900s? Hallmark. They've been around for a very long time. So, um, in the early 1900s, Hallmark Company was founded, and they produced low-cost cards and sold them to the masses. And they were instrumental in how we celebrate Valentine's now, because with the sale of their cards, they also made suggestions. Why not a rose? How about a nice box of candy? Then, packaging becomes into it. So you would get our heart-shaped boxes, our little stuffed teddy bears, um, things made with lace and everything nice. So anyway, that is my story on the history of Valentine's. You can comment on here. I know I did not cover it all. I just picked out a few things to keep this video short. But I thought these were poignant things, particularly in these times of the pandemic, where we can show little simple acts of kindness to one another. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, everybody. Bye.